Dear students and learners, welcome back to one more short video on the topic group discussion, and today's topic is specifically focused on interaction strategies. How do you interact in a GD? Now, what is this interaction strategy we are going to discuss, right? It is nothing but the way a member in a GD behaves, his action, his reaction, and the way he carries himself or herself in a GD session. Okay. Now we all know that group discussion is not only an forum to exchange ideas, but also it is a stage to exhibit your character and your outward behavioral traits. So GD basically involves striking a balance between expressing your own opinion or views and respecting that of the others. Now here I quote Lee Lacosa, an American automobile executive who is highlighting the importance of right communication when one is interacting in a group situation. What he says, you can have brilliant ideas, but if you can't get them across, your ideas won't get you anywhere. Now, going into the strategies or rather interacting strategies that way member in a GD should try to keep in mind. Here are a few. First one is the strategy to overcome psychological and also emotional challenges one may face. So first and foremost advice is be patient. Okay. Now the discussion might not always go the way you expected or way you had planned or wanted to. But you have to stay calm and composed, and even if the conversation is going totally against you, people are not supporting you. Secondly, responding thoughtfully. Now, you have to ask clarifying questions if required. For instance, you can say, could you please explain as to why you feel, right? For example, digital marketing isn't the right way to go about currently in India. Suppose you are taking a stand on that. So you can ask the person to clarify why at all he is taking a view in the opposite. Now be respectful always. Now this is not a forum to fight, flex muscles, right? You have to be respectful for others in the members, right? Because everyone has the right to put forth their opinion, right? So respect diverse point of views even if they are not going with your line of thoughts. Use respectful and courteous tone throughout the discussion. Never interrupt others while they are speaking unless there is specific reasons to do that. This is showing respect to each and every member. Pay close attention to what others are saying even if they are disagreeing with you, and try to use your non-verbal cues like nodding, eye contact to show that you are engaged. And one more thing is avoid aggression in all situations. Never ever be aggressive. Okay? Because your emotional response may turn into aggression without you realizing this. Okay? Now, for instance, handle criticism very gracefully. Okay? Focus on the content, not the person who is opposing you. For example, instead of saying you are wrong, try this one. I see it differently and here why it is so. Okay? So avoid at all cost any personal attack or sarcasm. Maintain positivity all through. Okay? Appreciate good points made by others and also add to what they say. You may agree, you may disagree. Now thinking skill is another part of the strategy that one should adopt. Okay? So as saying goes, think before you ink. Likewise, in a GD you have to think before you speak. If you are hasty, a hasty response can lead to incorrect interpretations and a flawed reasonings. An error in the facts, figures can ruin your image and your outcome of the GD. So remember, think before you start speaking. Okay. Now think word, as you know, it has 5 letters. What they mean? T, H, I, N, K. T stands for, try to answer yourself, is it true what you are going to say? H, is it helpful or will it be helpful for the discussion? I, is it inspiring? N, is it necessary? And K, is it kind or it is rude, aggressive? So before you think, try to question yourself and get an answer and then go ahead. Structure your thoughts. Your thinking or way of presentation has to be logical and coherent. So you have to sequence your thought properly. Let us take an example here, right? Suppose the GD topic is remote work yields better results. So how do you proceed? Your argument should be this way. Many IT companies have successfully implemented remote work policies such as Infosys, TCS, Wipro, Cognizant, you can name as many you can. These companies have reported increase in employee satisfaction, reduced overall cost or rather overhead cost and improves productivity. Therefore, remote work can be a better or alternative option that organizations should explore according to me. This is the way you can go, logical sequence. Also show your analytical abilities. That's a part of, very important part of your strategy, interacting strategy I mean. Now present various perspective of the issue that they have been posed to you. For instance, let's take the example of, suppose the topic is adverse impact of climate change. So what all you need to do? You have to present various perspectives. For instance, you have to, think in terms of scientific perspectives, right, and express. Suppose in scientific purposes, what happens? You have to highlight some of the greenhouse gas emission issues. You can also highlight global warming issue. Then you can also, talk about the impact of ecosystem on flora and fauna. So this could be, scientific perspective of the issue, that is adverse impact of climate change. Now after scientific perspective, you can touch on economic perspective. What is that? Highlight the cost of mitigation and adaptation of the strategies to cope, and both by industries as well as households. Then go to the third one, that is social perspective. What is that? What could be the impact of vulnerable population? People who are going to be displaced, they are going to be rehabilitated, resettled, because the sea level is going to rise in the future as predicted. This could be one of the way to go about putting forth your logic stand. Ethical perspective also you can highlight. What is that? That is the moral obligations on the current generation to ensure that future generation is also well protected. So in this way, what you have to do is you have to present various perspectives on the issue that you are discussing. Next, you can also, as a part of your interactive strategy, you have to often, propose feasible solutions to the problem. Okay. So suppose the topic is checking brain drain. Is it possible? They have given you a topic. So if you are taken a stand, yes, it is possible. Then how do you propose the solution? Now your solution could be like this. We need to make the home country more attractive. How you are going to do it? I feel we need to invest more on infrastructure. We need to improve public services. We need to curb corruptions. We need to promote a better work-life balance. We need to promote industry-academia partnership to make the skills more relevant for the job market. So this is how you can, propose a feasible solution if the issue is regarding brain drain, right? So this way, you will be better appreciated. Now another particular strategic way of approaching a GD discussion is like this, group skills you need to exhibit. See, In a group discussion, it is as much important about your individual performance as about the teamwork, because your recruiters are assessing you based on your teamwork potentiality also. So you have to exhibit active participation. Okay. Now, active participation doesn't mean dominating aggressively. This is very important. So what you have to do, how do you actively participate? You have to pay attention to what others are saying, right? How do you pay attention to, right? Both verbally and non-verbally. You can nod, you can maintain eye contact. Then, as a part of active participation, one more thing you can do is offer your own thoughts and ideas, suggestions, right? Very logically. Okay. Now, next thing you should do is, there could be some members of the group discussion who may not be that active, but as a part of your own strategy, what you have to do is you have to encourage these quiet members or quieter members also to come in and put forth their views. Okay. If someone hasn't spoken much, then you can address him or her. You could say like this: we haven't heard from Mr. X or Miss number 4 yet. What are your thoughts on this, please? Right? Or you can directly invite, give the turn to this person who is less vocal. And then how you encourage the person to speak further, right? You have to make him or her comfortable. So you have to acknowledge, appreciate the other's point of view, right? Use encouraging body language and your own tone. As I said earlier, nodding, tilting your head towards the member, sometimes hinting, yeah, true, very true, correct, I agree with you, right? What you say is right. That's right. Likewise, also you can do. Now, extending cooperation to the rest of the members. See, you are not here to fight. You have to healthily compete with others and come out successful. So, you have to extend cooperation also. So, what you have to do? You offer feedbacks, right, in a supportive and helpful manner. Provide examples of what was shared well and what was relevant. Hey, Mr. Nine, you have spoken so well on the present scenario of global warming. For instance, elaborate on others' point. Somebody has said something, you can add to that your own perspective. Let's take an example here. I agree with Mr. Number 5 on the benefits of workplace etiquettes. Etiquettes also builds, he has already stated something positive about etiquettes. So now you are adding to that. We are saying etiquettes also build stronger relationship, moral and positive image regarding the person as well as the organization. Right? This way you are extending a cooperation to the other members and to the GD. Then leadership skill, this is very essential, right? Part of the GD. Actually, the recruiters or the organizations who conduct these GD sessions, they are trying to find out leadership talents in the potential candidates. So, as a leader, what all you should do? You have to initiate the discussion. As I said earlier in my short videos, if you are comfortable on the topic, if you have prior knowledge, then only you should initiate the discussion. So, how do you do that? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Our topic for the discussion today, whatever the topic is, read it out and then try to appreciate the topic. I suggest we should start the discussion on the topic straight away without further wasting time. I would like to initiate the discussion on the topic if you all allow me to do so. Taking the consent of others also, taking others with you. That is inclusivity. I don't mind to start the discussion on the topic. Okay, this way you can also start or initiate the discussion. This is one of the leadership quality. Then retract the discussion. Sometimes the discussion is going out of context. So what is your job? You have to retract the discussion and bring it back from to the track very tactfully. You cannot do it aggressively. So here I suggest that better set the ground rules before you start. This is also part of the strategy. Let us all agree to speak for 2 minutes initially, then we can go to the second round and speak likewise. Let us go clockwise, let us go anti-clockwise. So you are setting a time limit for every round, and also these are all part of the setting ground rules about. Now, another thing, as a leader, it is expected that, you should either assign or take yourself the responsibility of summarizing the GD, whatever was discussed at the end. Either you hand it over to someone, right, very tactfully. If no one is volunteering, you can take up the responsibility. That will exhibit your leadership skill. Conflict resolution, yet another leadership skill that you must plan well in ahead. In case there is a conflict, how do you handle that? You have to be a mediator. You have to resolve the conflict. When disagreement arises, you have to guide the discussion to focus on the problem in hand and not attacking individuals. In extreme case, what you have to do, you can also remind the group members, hey, all group members, with due respect, we are going to sail or sink together. Hence, let us behave more sensibly, right? Sometimes you can also use, right, the way you like, you can use another more softer vocabulary also. Request members not to indulge in personal remarks. This way you can handle some conflict, and if you are doing it, you are being marked and you are also scoring, right, some advantage. Communication skill, as you know, is GD's most important part. So you have to actively listen to, right, and your language has to be extremely professional. Don't ever use slangs or jargons, right? So active listening by paying close attention to what others are saying, respectful disagreement, presenting your points opinion in a very polite and constructive manner, verbal communication, you are using appropriate language, tone, volume that will convey message, right? Time management is another important part of your strategy that you must use. You have to be mindful about the time allotted. It could be 20 minutes, it could be 30 minutes, you cannot cross the time. So be mindful about the time. Now, as a part of this communication, which is a part of the strategy that one should prepare or what should integrate, one should use very polite and professional way while addressing to. There must be clarity and there has to be respect. Let us see some of the examples. How do you put your ideas? How do you put your sentence like? In my honest opinion, right? I do agree, but would like to add. Yes, you agree to somebody, but then you also have your something more to speak, right? As you are rightly mentioned, something, then you have to suffix. Let us agree to disagree also. As you have rightly mentioned, let us agree to disagree also. Sorry, number 7, I beg to differ, right? So you are apologetic because you can't agree with him or her. Suppose you totally agree with someone, members, then you can very well admit that, acknowledge that and say, I couldn't agree more, Mr. Number 5. Why I understand your point of view, I also believe. Here is another case where you partly believe the person you are agreeing to, but partly also disagreeing to. Now, these are some of the ways in which you have to carry yourself in a GD, and which the title of, as you know, video was interaction strategy. How do you interact very effectively, convincingly, in order to score high, in order to outcompete your other members in the group discussion. Your objective is to come out successful in the GD, right? You have to outperform. So you have to keep all these part in points what we have discussed today in your mind while you participate in a GD. Now for the day we stop it here. We'll continue. Thank you.